Take a shot every time I say now. Hi, and welcome to my very awkward intro. My name is Susan/Bambi, and this is Bambi's Rambles. How are we, friends? Are we good? That's good. And if you're not good, that's okay too. First of all, I just want to address a couple of things before we get into the video, like shut up, Susan. Anyway, I am incredibly grateful for over 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it. I did not expect to hit 30,000 views on my last Creepshow art video, and I'm incredibly grateful. Thank you so much. And if you found me from that video, I really appreciate it. Also, a couple of the criticisms I've had, completely fair, about where my eyes look and you know, me touching my hair or moving around and my hands, and me drinking out of my drink. I mean, first of all, I've only been on the platform for 3 months now. And I'm still obviously learning a lot about editing, about, you know, I record off an iPhone. Like, I don't remember to look in the right spots. Like, I get all that. Like, I really understand and appreciate everyone's point of view on that. But I also want to let everyone know that I am not by any means a structured person. I am just me. I am just myself. I use this as a way just to have a conversation with what I perceive as a group of friends, just, you know, sitting around chatting about things. So if I don't get these things perfect, there are a lot of channels that do these things perfectly. I just might not be your kind of YouTuber, which is completely fine, and I'm not judging anyone, but bear with me. I will be trying to get better. But I will always, you know, drink my drinks and and look at the wrong place, or move around, move my arms around. Like, I'm very animated. That's just how I am as a person. A European background, that's how I was raised. So yeah, yeah, that's all I really want to say about it. Like, anyway, shut up, Susan. So in today's video, we are going to do another trip down content lane with Creepshow Art. I have found a video that is now deleted, and this video is called The Worst Fan Ever. So if I do look away, I feel really uncomfortable even having to address that. Like, but it is due to the fact that we have notes. We have notes, and I'm trying my absolute best to get better with this sort of stuff. So bear with me. I'm not a professional straight off the gate. So yeah, if you want someone more professional, more put together, come back in 6 months. Or there are plenty of channels on YouTube that you might feel more comfortable watching. So yeah. So this video is now deleted, and it's off that Google Doc that I was talking about. And it's called The Worst Fan Ever. Now, as we know, Shannon likes to use the worst fan ever, this person ever, so on and so forth. But yeah, I want to just discuss this video because of a lot of the content of the video. She does go and like real in depth about what this person has done. And I wanted to see if there are any nuggets in there that we could all like find together and be like, girl, you did that to Emily Artful, or girl, you did that to your sibling, or girl, you did this, that, and everything else. Like, and there are some interesting things. So let's get right into it. Now, so she starts off the video by saying that this is brought to you by Boundaries, get better boundaries. So she makes some stupid joke, which was a stupid joke. But anyway, because she goes on to say that if you've been on her channel for a long period of time, you will know that in the past she shared a lot about her personal life and a lot of really really personal information about herself and her life and her family and so on. And people will see that she's gone back a little bit and has stopped sharing so much with people. Now, she wanted to make this story time to tell everyone why she has stopped doing that, okay? So she does drag on a little bit with her self-deprecating humor, whatever she wants to call it, where she talks about how when she started her channel, she thought no one would care, no one would watch her channel, and now she's at a point where she's like, too many people watch, too many people care, and it's really overwhelming to her. And how she also thought that it would never get to a point where she's in this situation with this person now where it would come and bite her in the ass and it would be a negative thing for her. But this is just a cautionary tale, or explaining to you guys why she's no longer so public with things. Anyway, so she starts off by saying that. She goes on to say that she you know, obviously went from no one watching her channel to actually the first few thousand subs that subscribed to her channel and would comment. She still remembers the names and icons of those people because she was so absorbed in the comment section. She was so there because she was like, oh my God, people are actually watching. She was spending a lot of time with her first couple of thousand subscribers. And yeah. So she goes on to say, this person is the reason why even her family, anyone outside of her family knows what she does for a living. So people outside of her family don't know she does YouTube, don't know anything like that about herself. She's become very reserved, very closed off. She's also blocked family and friends from all of her social accounts. She's claiming this is the reason why. So this fan, right? Anyway, on to say that she has since left Las Vegas and no one knows which state her and her husband now live in. Also says that she has now blocked all personal family and friends from all of her social accounts. And she said that the reason why is due to a fan she refers to in this video as Jerry. She claims that Jerry faked cancer, harassed and stalked both her and her husband, Anthony, for 12 months. This person stole $5,000 from her, also catfished her. Using a social media profile, an old LinkedIn page that Jerry found, and linked it back to a girl she went to high school with by the name of Natalie. So that's where we start off the video essentially. Now, due to all these things that Jerry has done to Shannon, it has caused Shannon to have anxiety, and it added to her diagnosis, symptoms, signs, triggers of her PTSD. Shannon says that this video was filmed. This situation happened at the time when her and Anthony were homeless. So it added on to the stress that she was already having. As we said earlier, she does talk about how she spent a lot of time in her comment sections, how she was in there a lot of the time, interacting with her first few thousand subscribers. She loved it. She enjoyed it. And that's when we come across Jerry. Jerry was in her comment sections, and it started with the first ever video Jerry posted on was the creepiest art commission ever. And Jerry put a comment in there that started a trend on Creepshow's videos. Jerry was a sub who would write long ass comments in her videos, first being the creepiest art commission ever. And she felt as though Jerry was incredibly smart and funny, and would write these long ass comments that Shannon would end up pinning to the top of her YouTube comment section. And she said that these comments would get more attention and more likes, more interaction, more laughs than what her entire video would get. So she found herself saying that she was having this incredible girl crush on this person with a Hello Kitty icon, because she was incredibly funny, incredibly witty. She had outlandish stories, and it's almost like Shannon found herself in the comment section and was like, this is a whole vibe, right? Because in Shannon's eyes, she perceived Jerry as a friend, not a fan. She got to that point of that relationship she felt with Jerry in the comment section, that Jerry was like her friend. And that all of her stories were hilarious. She loved all of her stories. She thought they were the best things since sliced bread. And she also makes a snide comment here by saying, well, we all know that our little Jerry liar superstar is actually just full of garbage, and none of these were really true. This is what Shannon says, okay? She then goes on to explain that from these comment sections, it ended up where Jerry would start following Shannon on social media, so Twitter and Instagram, and Shannon returned the favor by following Jerry back, and they continued a friendship by tagging each other in memes, sending DMs, long conversation. She said that she D&M'd with her. She shared personal deep information with this fan. The fan did the same thing. She felt they had a real connection. She said that it reached unhealthy levels. So she would spend hours on end in communication with Jerry via DMs. And in all of this, she would talk about her stresses when it comes to homelessness. She would also talk about the ideas that she had for future content. Jerry would give her ideas for crazy stories that have happened to her, and that she said, oh, Shannon, you should do a story time on this. You should do a story time on this, and so on and so forth. Now, she goes on to talk about how the fact that her husband, Anthony, was starting to see that she was slipping in regards to her real life. So she was slipping when it came to work. She was slipping when it came to sleep. She was avoiding the problems in her own life. And Anthony perceived it as a crutch. So he was saying, you are using social media as a crutch to avoid the problems in your real life, and you need to address this, and you need to understand that you're not going to fix your real life by being on social media. We can actually go two ways about that in a way, because when I'm hearing some of this, I'm kind of like, that's a bit of controlling behavior. If this is true, right? And Anthony is perceiving that this is like not healthy or whatever, that's one thing. But if we go off the history of Anthony, what we know so far, it's almost like doesn't want her having any sort of connection with other people. But also we can say, is this a true story or not? But who knows? In her mind, maybe she's like talking about her husband in a way where she's like, oh my God, you know, this is how much he cares about me, pushing that narrative forward to make sure no one ever questions and continues to question if her husband is actually unhealthy for her, if that makes any sense. That's just my little side thought there, but let me know your thoughts down below. So she decided that she'd make a deal, right? So she makes a dumbass comment about, I'm just going to become my mother and act like an old lady and go on the internet for only 1 hour a day. Unless she was uploading a video that day, then she would be on for 2 hours, sorry. So 1 hour a day, unless posting, she'd be on for 2 hours. Because of this, she decided to get a second job, right? So she's like, I need to get out of homelessness. I need to get out of this situation. So she went and picked up a second job, and she was talking about how YouTube was not monetizing her yet. So she needed to work, make more money. Now she said, take a shot every time I say now. She moves on to talk about that due to this, she's obviously not spending hours upon hours having these conversations with Jerry when they had grown so accustomed to them talking all the time, right? So she says that Jerry kind of went a little wacky tobacco, right? And started blowing up her phone for hours on end, different hours, different times, all like just outrageously messaging saying YouTube had gotten to her head. She thinks she's famous now. She's forgetting her roots. She's forgetting her friends. She's forgetting it's changing her. So she would get hours upon hours of abuse. You know, if she didn't reply in a timely manner, or she posted something on Twitter but didn't respond to a DM, she, in Shannon's words, not mine, I will read this exactly how Shannon said it. Get her ass taken off her body, put on a platter and served to her via DM. Now, Shannon goes on to say that even after hours of all this abuse and carry on and whatever, Shannon would sometimes ignore it, whatever else. She would get a random hi, hello, how are you from Jerry. And this was fucking with Shannon, in Shannon's words, this was fucking with her mental health. She was getting really like stressed out with the idea that of opening her messages, stressed out about getting these messages, opening up her phone. It would give her panic attacks. It would give her anxiety, and it would, you know, trigger things inside of her. So her husband decided that he would, and she says, in an adult manner, she means this obviously sarcastically after what I'm about to tell you, but sarcastically, she was like, I did what any normal adult would do, and I would ignore the problem until it festered, right? So for 2 weeks, she ignored everything that she got from Jerry. She would turn her notifications off on social media. She would make sure that wouldn't come through to her. She ignored, right? So after 2 weeks, she heard nothing. Jerry had disappeared. And Shannon's like, fuck yeah, this is great. Probably not realistic, but it's happening and I'm happy about it, right? Now, at the same time that Jerry disappeared, Shannon would receive public mentions, tags, ats towards Shannon of animal torture, racist things, and also she would receive videos of self-harm. At the same time, she would also be getting DMs from people telling her her husband didn't care about her husband hated her, that they wanted to see her head on a spike. Really aggressive, scary, uncomfortable things Shannon was getting. Shannon never tweeted about this publicly. She never discussed it with anybody. But through all of this, she would end up having Jerry come into these posts and stick up for Shannon. And as Jerry was sticking up for Shannon, these people would go after Jerry. Now, these people would then go on to say things to Shannon that would, if you are friends, so we know if you're friends with someone, right, and you're having a really big fight and you want to be an asshat, you are going to say things that are going to get to them. Yeah, say personal things are going to, grill them and hurt them and things like that. And Shannon said that these accounts started doing that. Things that she had not shared on YouTube, things she had not shared with anybody. Someone even mentioned where she worked. And the only person that knew all these things was Jerry. So the fact that no one knew who these accounts were, but Jerry magically found them sticking up for Shannon. They knew all these things that only Jerry knew, and Jerry decided to go stick up for her and all these sorts of stuff. Shannon was like, okay, I feel like this might be Jerry. But instead of going to Jerry and saying, why did you do this? She ended up going to Jerry in the DMs and saying, really sorry what happened between us. I've just been so busy, but thank you so much for sticking up for me. I've muted these accounts. You need to do the same. Here's how you can change your settings on Twitter, and showed her how to do it. And Jerry went on to say, I'm really sorry for me acting a little bit crazy towards you. I've been going through a lot of stuff and I took it out on you. And once I saw people were going up against you and treating you some sort of way, my way of apologizing to you was sticking up for you. And then Shannon said, well, what's going on? Are you okay? What's happening? And Jerry went on to say that she had been diagnosed with cancer and was unable to afford her treatment. And Shannon said, well, I, as a normal human being that has been through cancer like a multitude of people, I am not going to ask someone for proof of cancer. I'm just going to say, how can I help? So Jerry went on to say, can you please send me money? Shannon goes on to say that, okay, well, at the time I was homeless, I was working 2 jobs, I was trying to save money and get out of the situation I was in, but also she was just about to get monetized on YouTube. She was waiting for her first paycheck from YouTube. So she said this money is better off sent to Jerry. As someone that has been hurt by cancer in the past, she wanted to help, right? So she goes on to do that. And she goes into a bit of so she said that she sent her whole ass first check on YouTube, from YouTube. So she went on and said that, okay? Then she said that, so she backs up a little bit again and she goes, oh, I didn't mention this, but I'm going to mention it now and I promise it makes sense. So she said she randomly had an account that came up in her mentions saying, hey, Shannon, do you remember me? I'd love to catch up. Shannon goes and checks and it is obviously an image of this Natalie person. Now she says that she went to high school with Natalie, but her and Natalie were not friends. They were not the same type of person. They were very different personalities. This Natalie person made it very clear that she did not like Shannon in the slightest. So she was like, what the fuck? Why does she want to hang out with me? I don't want to hang out with her anyway, but she thought it was really weird because she's like, why would she want to? She didn't really believe that it was this Natalie girl. But anyway, she throws that in there and then says, well, I now know that that was also Jerry. So that's all, she like plops it in there and kind of runs. Anyways, back to Jerry and the money for the cancer treatment. So she went on to have this, like, I don't know how sending money works in this sort of way, but she talks about how she was sent an email to link this money to pick up from somewhere. I don't know how this stuff works, so I can't really tell you. Like, I do PayPal. Like, I don't know none of that stuff. But she goes, anyway, she says the name didn't add up to Jerry's name. It was a completely different name. So she asked Shannon. Shannon asked her, said, well, this isn't your name. What's the dealio? And then Jerry turned around and said, well, it's an old email with a spoofed name, bit of a joke name, but that is me. That's the only email I can get into. So send it my way. Anyway, so she sends her the money. Everything's hunky-dory. And then it becomes a situation where Jerry starts talking, I need to leave a DV situation. Can I please have some money to fix my car? So on and so forth. So it becomes a situation where Jerry is constantly asking Shannon for money. Shannon turns around and sends it because she perceives that she's a good friend, a great friend, would never want to leave any of her friends high and dry. So she put her problems on the back burner to focus on Jerry's problems. And they were still very friendly. They were still, hunky-dory, chatting all the time. She, stopped that 1 hour thing she was doing on the internet and went back to all normal, right? Until Shannon doesn't say how further on this was, but she goes on to talk about how she went through something that she's not comfortable to talk about publicly. She doesn't want that public, but there was a really traumatic experience that she went through. She was absolutely devastated by it. And in that time, she decided that she was going to take a step back from social media, including YouTube. She didn't make an announcement. She didn't let anybody know. She was just like cut off from it, right? And again, Jerry started with her overly obsessive messages, constant blowing up her phone, so on and so forth, to the point where her husband, she says this in a video, she says, my husband had to turn the notifications off on my phone. I mean our phone, because we share a phone. So she does confirm that. I do not know if that was just a conspiracy theory and there was no backup. I know that Ashley said it on Twitter, but she does confirm it in this video that she did share a phone. And I might actually pop some of these, some clips in from Shannon's video in this. I don't want her to like try and take my video down or something, but I'll just, for context, just give bits and pieces of the video in here, especially one bit towards the end of the video that I feel like really needs to be put out there. Anyway, but we'll get to that. She went off social media completely, did not have any energy, interest in helping other people. She just really needed to take a step back. She, got off YouTube and socials. As I said, she also quit one of her jobs. So she was only working one job instead of 2 jobs at this point. So again, Jerry went off her head and was going bananas towards Shannon. So she goes on to say that just like before, people were at her via social media, in her DMs, telling her all these different things, including things about her brother that passed away, saying that her brother would be disgusted in who she'd become, her brother would be embarrassed of who she is and how she treats people and how YouTube has changed her as a person, and so on and so forth. Shannon then goes on to have a very emotional moment in this video where she talks about how she feels her brother will be incredibly proud of her. Her brother was always proud of her. Now, we do know that this person, Bobby, from our last video, is actually a cousin that lived with them for a time who is like a brother, but not a brother. Shannon is very upset in this part about how she was treated some sort of way, made to feel some sort of way, in regards to her brother, smearing her brother's name, so on and so forth. Now, I find that very, very interesting because we do know that she had smeared her sibling's name via a Reddit post about how she said that her sibling said a bunch of really nasty, horrible things about brother, cousin, Bobby. Now, she goes on to talk about this and she goes, oh, this person knew how he died, knew when he died. I've never really shared this publicly. I have to know who this is. This is Jerry through and through, right? So she's basically at the point where she's exposing her for what she has done to Shannon because this was the last straw.
And they were saying things like, it's good that he died when he did. That way he didn't have to see me turn into, quote, such a disappointment. Which, I know, like, I can be emo at times, but I know that's false. It just bothers me that someone is willing to bastardize the memory of, like, the best person I know because they don't like me. My brother was proud of me for being an outspoken person who doesn't break or bend. He was proud of me when I had literally nothing to be proud of. He was proud of me just for existing and being who I am and being uncompromising. He's still proud of me to this day, and the assertion otherwise is so fucking stupid and obnoxious. You don't know shit about my brother, and it pisses me off more than anything that people try to use his memory that way. That's fucking stupid. When I did finally make the decision to come back online after
her 2 to 3 week break from social media, she came back to 2,000 messages from Jerry, ranging from "Hi, hello, how are you?" to "I hope you burn in a fire." So again, I've already spoken about, she came back and she found all these things, triggering mean comments, DMs, so on and so forth, from these random ass people, trying to bait her or convince her or something to go back to self-harm sort of things. I don't know how to say that without like triggering anybody, but like that sort of stuff coming across. So she was talking about that this person is obviously talking to Shannon to try and get Shannon to have unhealthy ways of coping again, trying to trigger her back into some sort of relapse in regards to ED and SH and all that sort of stuff. Does that make any sense? I really hope so. So she goes on to say that she was really in a good place mentally because she had had such a big break from social media and posting content, so on and so forth. She, was easing up on working and so on. So she felt really like in control mentally and stuff. So she started to notice some things that she didn't notice before, which was one of these accounts that was purely dedicated to harassing her, telling her all these horrible things, sharing really triggering stuff with her on social media, was actually linked to an account that was actually in her contact list on her phone. So she was like, oh my God, this is obviously someone I know. So she went to go and have a look at who it was, and it was Jerry. That she obviously had saved the email in her contacts because she had been sending Jerry money through to this email account. So it was Jerry. And she's like, oh my God, bells went off because she knew things that nobody else knew. She was doing all this fucked up stuff to me. This person, Shannon goes on to say, this person that I sent money to, this person I did this for and that for, was actually doing all these things to me. And she said that's low-key terrifying. She used the word low-key terrifying. I don't talk like Shannon, so forgive me if I don't, vibe as well as she does when she says all this banana shit. She goes on to say that this was like messing with her so much that she sat down and wrote a list of all the people that know this information that's being used against her. And she said there's literally only one person on there that would use it as a weapon, which is Jerry. She goes on to make another dumb joke about how her mum would not be cyberbullying her because her mum loves her. So, yeah. The giveaway that she had in regards to this was a tweet. So a public tweet from one of these accounts said the exact same thing, word for word, that Jerry had said to her in the DMs, except this public one had a video of self-harm. So that's when it was another big giveaway, that it was the exact same words. The only difference was the video of self-harm, which makes no sense because, as we said earlier in this video, Shannon told Jerry, because she did it herself, that she was blocking any sort of content, in muting her Twitter settings in regards to self-harm, animal abuse, all these horrific things she already got. So she was making Jerry do the same thing and showed her how to do it. So I don't know how she's seeing it again, but I digress. Shannon goes on to say, well, you're obviously wondering how I dealt with this. Did I put my stiletto on their dick and stomp on it? And she's just going on with her dumbass jokes. Anyway, she goes, no, all she did was take a screenshot of that Twitter comment I was telling you guys about, and then also the screenshot of the message she got, how they're exactly the same, and she sent it to Jerry and said, this you, ? Jerry, she said, as a pathological liar, she didn't think Jerry would respond or answer, blah, 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 blah. But Jerry went on to say, yeah, my dude, my bad, I'm sorry. He went on to say, I did do all of this and it was wrong, but I did it because I have MS and I needed an outlet to make myself feel better, but I've lost all the passwords for these accounts. Shannon says in the video to the audience, not to her, says, well, that's funny because I got some really fucked up tweets today, so we know that's a lie. And she calls Jerry McLiar or some shit. Anyway, so that happens, and yeah,
troll accounts towards me.
So as you guys probably put together already, when I said that she said she was fighting MS, Shannon goes on to tell us, who's like, well, I hope you guys picked up on what I picked up on, which is the fact that she said she was going through MS. And Shannon was like, well, I obviously noticed that because she's always told me she's fighting cancer, not multiple sclerosis. Shannon then goes on to say, I know exactly why she said it, because Shannon's mum has actually had multiple sclerosis since Shannon was in the 3rd grade. So Shannon knows that she was confused by which lie she told, or picking up Shannon's information and mixing it with her own information. And because Shannon was so triggered by that, because that's what her mum's going through, what her family's been going through, she calls her out on this. They went back with a grueling back and forth, and Shannon was furious. And at the end of this back and forth, Jerry turned around and admitted that everything was a lie. She made it all up to get Shannon's attention. All of her story times were a lie. She didn't really have cancer, no DV, no MS, no nothing. She also admitted to finding an old LinkedIn page of Shannon's, connecting it to old LinkedIn pages of people that Shannon went to high school with to try and catfish her. To make friends with her in another way through another account because she just wanted Shannon's attention. She wanted to be Shannon's friend. Make a comment, which we know she's trying to be funny, but Shannon, you're not funny, and says she lied about having a dog when she didn't have a dog. So why'd you have to lie about the dog? So you know how Shannon can be. But anyway, she goes on and says that like every single thing that this person has ever told her was a big old fat lie, and she admitted all of it after a back and forth confrontation via DMs with Creepshow.
Like, it just
goes on to say that Jerry had deleted everything, like the account she said she couldn't get access to, she deleted them. She deleted her YouTube comments, her YouTube account. She deleted everything. Then Shannon was notified a few months later that this email address that she used to send her money, which I'm guessing she does elaborate, that's from PayPal, so I'm dumb, so it is PayPal. Anyway, was actually reconnected, and this is how she found that this email address was linked to something else that was sending another big YouTuber a lot of hate. So she went and spoke to this big YouTuber and said, do you know about this? This is someone, this is what they did to me, just warning you, so on and so forth. And that is the end of what Shannon says is the worst fan ever. Now, this is the first time I've ever really done anything like this. Like, I know I did my other one, which was a bit like 2 different videos, which was a lot easier to condense, I guess. But this was a 35-minute video that Shannon did, and I didn't want to fuck it up. I didn't want to get it wrong. I just wanted to talk about how, you know, in that video, I didn't specify every time she said it, but she does talk a lot about so many lies and I can't believe this and who has the time to send all these messages and create all these fake accounts and all these sorts of things. And it's just like, it's almost like, to me, I'm going to give my conspiracy theory. Allegedly, don't shoot me. Rich Lux up in here. We hate Rich Lux, do we? I don't know. Can't keep up. But anyway, it's almost like airing out her dirty laundry in regards to, like, in her mind, like, I've got it off my chest what I've done to Emily, what I've done to Holly, what I've done to all these other people. I've got it off my chest, but I didn't out myself. It's almost like when you pick up on little tiny things she says about her husband, it's almost like she's trying to instill in everyone's mind that he treats her well. He treats her a certain way. We should not question this. Do you know what I mean? Like this, it's almost like she just wanted to get it off her chest so it wasn't sitting on it. But by creating another story in a really twisted way, and it's like, it's sick and it's weird and it's bizarre. And I'm like entrenched in it because I'm just like, holy moly, like how far does one need to go? But I guess I might, you know, open up the comment sections to let you guys know, like let me know a better way that maybe that I could do this, you know? Like, I don't know if you guys like longer form content, shorter form content. I don't know, you know, how to do these sort of things, but it's like, I want to share it. Like, should I do it live? Should I like let us all sit and watch it live and then chat about it? Like, I'm not entirely sure, but I just feel like there is so much in these videos where she's actually done this to other people. But it's almost like she has to get it off her chest in some sort of way. Especially when she talks about her husband. Like, I just feel like, are you trying to tell everyone that he's a good person when he's not? In fear of, you know, someone coming out like Emily Artful and saying, this guy is not a good guy. Like, he's not a good person. Like, are you already instilling doubt in our minds before that comes? So you've like set up the groundwork for it, the foundation for it? Or to say, who has time to make fake accounts and all these sorts of things? Like, that's, she goes, it's beyond bonkers. It's like boinkers at this point. Like, are you doing that to set the groundwork that we would never pick up that you would do that because you've said a million times that like that's like so exhausting and like next level? I don't know. It's really interesting. Like, it's interesting to me. I don't know if it's interesting to you. If you enjoy it, thumbs up. If you don't enjoy it, thumbs down. Please do not make negative comments about my fucking appearance. I don't make negative comments about your appearance. And if you think you're better than me, you think you could do it better than me, and you think I'm the most terrible person in the world, please, you don't have to watch. No one is forcing you. Also, I am a human and I have feelings, so don't hurt my feelings. And also, I'm not going to take makeup advice by like some like rose-colored avatar on YouTube, just so you know. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really, really, really appreciate it. I love you all so much. So make sure to like, subscribe, send a pigeon, keep the same energy, wash your hair. I don't know, charge your vape, because I keep forgetting to do that and it drives me nuts. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. And do you guys want to see another Shannon video next? My Lady Gaga conspiracy theory next? Or we want some Repzilla shit? What would you guys like? Let me know. I'm all down for it. If you guys want a live stream where we can like chat, talk, whatever, I'm happy to do that too. So just let me know. Anyway, I love you all so much. Thank you for watching. Bye.